Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. I just have to show you this before we begin. I tidied last night. I spent a whole hour listening to my lovely spa music. There is some rubbish to the left, but we won't talk about that. And I just got this spaces clean and it feels so good. I went on to buy 2 more of these storage units. Who was I kidding? I thought I only needed one. So funny. Anyway, this video was actually a request, so let's go. So in this video, I'm going to be testing out the inlay molds that Molds and Shapes sent me. Now they sent me these 2 absolutely stunning mandalas and I cannot wait to try them. Now I haven't yet actually used these in resin, but the question was, can they be used in Jesmonite? So that is what we're going to do in today's video. So the molds I'm using, you would have seen in a previous video, they are just 2 out of the set that I've got from the Geo tray molds. They're nice and chunky and deep. They're about 1 centimetre deep. I'm going to be using a mandala inlay in each one, and I'm going to try and get them as central as possible. This is where I need a ruler. Does that look central? That looks central to me. I'm going to press it down nice and firmly. And in this one, I'm using the other mandala. They have got different patterns on, and I love them both equally. Not so much space around this one, but here we go. There we go. I think that's a little bit off. That should be, yeah, I'm happy with that. So I am just going to push them both down in the center. Then I'm going to mix up my Jesmonite. If you are interested in Jesmonite, I'm going to link a video here, and that is going to take you through the A to Z of what it is, how to use it, what the mix time is, etc. I don't yet know how much these molds are going to take, so I'm going to make more than I need, and then I'll be able to let you know what the measurements are in this video. So before I start, I actually just went over with a piece of tape just to get off any dust or debris, because this room does like to collect it. I'm going to mix up my Jesmonite. So for the start, I'm going to use 230 grams liquid to 575 grams powder. We will all learn together, see how far that goes. If it's enough for both, brilliant. I'll put the extra into another mold. If it's not enough, I will make extra. So before using Jesmonite, always make sure that you have got your gloves on. I've also got a dust mask on. Now, as I've said in my beginners Jesmonite video, it isn't as toxic as epoxy resin, but you still do need some PPE. You need a dust mask and you need gloves. Now, if you are new to Jesmonite and this is the first video you are ever watching, then I add my powder slowly. Everyone is advised to do it this way. It's much easier and you get less clumps. Now, I am using a silicone whisk, but the advice really would be to use a Jesmonite blade. It's like a mixer's cement blade. I haven't yet invested. So far, I've been okay with a whisk, but you know, maybe in the future I will do it properly and get myself a blade. So you just want to mix until all of that powder has gone before you mix the next powder. What I've started doing, which you will see coming up, is I have started to add my colour before I finish adding the powder. What this allows me to do is it just gives me more work time. If you are new to Jesmonite, Jesmonite sets super fast within 5 minutes. Once all that powder is in, it starts to go off. I feel pressured by that. Like it almost gives me heart palpitations because I know I'm running out of time to get the colour that I feel that I really want. I've decided now to kind of leave a quarter of the powder back until I've added my colour. So in this batch, I am going with the pigment, the green pigment from Jesmonite. It's a branded pigment. Now, you really don't need much. You can get 1,000 different shades of green depending on how much you use. I am using a minimal, scraping the lollipop stick off before actually adding it to the Jesmonite. And already I know that's enough, take the stick out. I don't want any more to go in there. This is going to give me the most beautiful shade of light green. So you really want to be careful with your pigments. If you pour your pigment in, you are going to get the actual real color of that dark green, and I didn't want that. So just keep this in mind if you are thinking of doing Jesmonite. 1 drop at a time, 1 drop at a time. Otherwise it can be too late. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pour just a little bit of that Jesmonite onto that mandala. That silicone mandala is intricate, it's detailed, it's got gorgeous little pattern on it. I don't want air pockets, and air pockets are quite likely, if I just go ahead and just pour the whole lot in, then there's going to be some trapped air in there. So I'm using this silicone tool that you've seen me use before. It's linked down below. Everything you see in this video will be linked down below, and I'm just squeegeeing that silicone mold. So I'm making sure that all of those little nooks and crannies are getting filled by the Jesmonite before I go in to fill up the entire mold. And this is where I realize I did not make anywhere near enough. With Jesmonite, it's hard to gauge. I mean, I'm impressed. I'm impressed that I made exactly the right amount for this one mold. But my brain didn't know I was doing that. I just plucked a random measurement out of my head and thought we'll start with that. And yeah, as you can see, there's absolutely none left for the second mold. So that is something, you know, at least we know now exactly what this mold takes. So hey, you're welcome. One day. And I really need to start writing these all down, because I have to refer back to videos to work out how much I put in each of these molds. I need to start writing them down, start making a list, and yeah, one day I will get it all together. Now you just want to do the tapping, the shaking, the rocking, whatever you can do. It was at this moment I realised I didn't put a board underneath, so I can't lift it up, tap it down, lift it up, tap it down. So I'm going to have to rely on tapping the edges, shaking the edges, blowing out those surface bubbles with either your mouth or using a straw. And then I've just kind of realised I can shimmy it back and forth on that plastic. That plastic is actually a rewashable, reusable shower curtain from Wilko's. So now that I know that this one took everything I just mixed, there wasn't even enough to pour into this one. So we now know that this mold takes 230 liquid, 575 powder. So now we're going to work on this one, and I know that this is not going to take anything like this one. So I'm now going to half those ingredients. So I'm going to do 115 liquid, the rest in powder. I haven't done the maths so fast in my head, but you want your liquid 2.5 times the powder. So here we go. So with the second one, I have speeded this up a little bit for you guys, because I don't know how boring it is for you to just watch me mix stuff. I'm doing exactly the same thing again. So I'm adding, I would say, 3/4 of my powder in before I actually add the colour. This just gives me a little bit more time to play. I'm putting in the red and the yellow, but I don't want orange. I'm going for like a dark coral terracotta colour at this point. Now I know that you add your yellow, if you just add a little bit of red, that's going to give you your orange, but the more red you add, the darker it becomes, and it does turn a little bit corally. If you want it to go, yeah, it's such a science, but I just think I just have fun and see what I get. And that is why I don't add all my powder at this point, because I've got more playtime. You just have to bear in mind that if you love the colour that you've actually achieved, like here, I get the colour that I absolutely love. By the time I've added the rest of the powder in, that has the potential to lighten the colour again. But that's just the price I pay, because I can't cope with putting all my powder in at once, because I know that I am then limited to 5 minutes. A lot of people, actually, I've had probably 3 messages in the last couple of weeks. I say a lot of people, I mean 3. But I've had messages in the last couple of weeks about using the Jesmonite retarder. I haven't yet tried it. That is a liquid that you can add to your Jesmonite to give you a much longer work time. I know people who have used it, and I know that it gives you up to 20 minutes work time. But it's not something I've tried yet. I think at this stage, I don't really feel like I want to try it at this stage. If the stress becomes too much, I might go and buy some. But I'm doing the same thing again, and I'm just gonna rub it into all of those nooks and crannies, and yeah, using my finger this time. And I'm probably gonna repeat myself in a minute, because this is voiceover Claire that you've got right now. But yeah, I'm using my finger just to get it into all of those nooks and crannies before I pour the remaining Jesmonite. Now the measurements I gave you for this second mold, they're too much. They are too much. I had a lot left over. I say a lot, it was enough for a coaster, so I've poured it into a separate mold. So here I am just finishing off the rest of the mould now that I've got the air bubbles out of the inlay. And yeah, look, you can see it's too much here. So I do go on to scrape that into a new mould, and then you just finish off with the shimmying and the shaking and all the rocking that you can do to get those bubbles out. So these are good to come out now, and because they're quite thick and chunky, I'm not worried about them breaking as I would the coasters, which were thinner at this stage. Well, I say that, fingers crossed. Remember that, ooh, popping out. Remember that Jesmonite at this stage is still very fragile, so if you are doing this, be careful. Yay! I'm excited, guys. Okay, this is the smaller one. Just gonna flip it over. Remember to be careful at this stage. Not as central as I'd want it, but we shall see. I'm just gonna gently rub the edge here. Oh, look at that. That is stunning. Stunning. Now you would have seen me use my silicone tool on this one, but I used my fingers on this one, mainly because I wasn't prepared and didn't wash it in time. But wow. Now this to me is wall art. To cover this up with a pot, a plant pot or a teapot, I want this on the wall. Look at this. Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous. Right, green. There's lots of fiddly bits around the edges. If you've worked with Jesmonite, you know, but yes. I'm peeling it away slowly for, you know, dramatic effect. It doesn't take that long to take away. It's not hard. Look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous. So, in answer to the question, absolutely yes, these inlay molds do work, and wow, what an impact on Jesmonite. Absolutely stunning. Now, before I demolded, I was thinking, oh, maybe I could fill them with resin, you know, make the video a bit more interesting. But actually, no, I'm glad I didn't, because just look at these. There's no way now I could fill that with anything other than, I don't know, love. How cheesy am I? I love it. And the two together in that colour, just yes. So yeah, thank you so much for prompting me to do this video, and I hope you found it helpful. The summary is that yes, these work in Jesmonite. They work a dream, absolute dream. I think this would make a it really would make a stunning teapot holder or a plant pot holder, but just making sure that the plant pot's not too big, you know. You don't want to lose this. You don't want to lose this wow, because this is wow. This is, yeah. Do you know what I mean? This one, I feel like this is also worthy of a plant pot holder, a tray, anything really. It's just I wouldn't want to cover this up too much. Or hang a bit of rope. You could actually attach rope before it cures and create some nice wall art for yourself. Oh, I just love it. I absolutely love it. Hope you've enjoyed these, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, if you like anything that you see on my channel, now most things I make on my YouTube channel do end up going onto my Etsy page for sale. I have added so much more to my Etsy this last 2 weeks. I did another launch a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, there's tons on there, including all of those pots that you saw me make. There's a lot on there, so if there's anything you ever see on my channel, don't forget to check out my Etsy to see if it is then for sale. These will be going up for sale, as well as trays or pot holders in that kind of genre, but they will be linked on my Etsy within the next few days. I just need to let them fully dry out, so don't forget to go check that out. I will link that in the description box below. And thank you so much to Molds and Shapes for sending me these inlays. I've really appreciated using them, and I am looking forward to using them again. They will be used again. So to everyone else, you're amazing. Thank you so much if you've stayed this long, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.